What's up, fellas? What's up, my red pill brothers? Urban Red Pill. Men first. You know what this channel is all about. It's men first. Unfortunately, we have to talk about one of our fellow men, Donald J. Trump, that is going through an impeachment. Now, I'm going to do a quick video about what I believe the underlying reason that he's going through this circus with these fucking clowns. Now, I've listened to other people's opinions on this. I've seen the media. I've seen Congress Republicans comment on a lot of logical reasons on why this whole thing is a farce, and I just haven't heard anyone hit on this one particular thing that I'm going to speak about on this video. Now, of course, in Urban Red Pill, aka Iceman fashion, I'm going to give you a few analogies so you could this could kind of tie in to what I believe the problem is. Let's just use an example like a car salesman. Let's say you're hired as a car salesman to sell cars. You not only do you make the quota that they asked of you, a matter of fact, you doubled it. And let's just say, okay, you're like, well, I've doubled the sales for the minimum that they expect, and you get the manager comes and wants to speak to you, and he says, hey, Urban Red Pill, unfortunately, I don't think that you're going to make it here, or you don't fit into this culture here. Of course, I'll say, well, what do you mean, fuckface? I've sold double the amount of cars that during orientation you told me that I need to sell. I not only made that number, I doubled it. Anyway, I don't fit the culture. They let me go. Or we could use vacuum sales. Let's say I sell vacuums, and they say, hey, Iceman, unfortunately, we want to take this company in a different direction. And I say, hey, what do you mean, you ass monkey? I sold a lot of vacuums. I made this company a lot of money. What other direction can you fucking be going besides to the green? When I got the job, we were supposed to be going to the green. We went to the green. And now you're telling me you want to go another direction. Makes no sense, right? Office clerk, hey, you don't fit into the culture here. You're like, well, what do you mean, dipshit? I've done the job. I've done everything that was asked of me. And, let's go down to your presidential candidate or president, Donald Trump. He comes in, they're asking him, they want him to fix the economy. You got stock markets, fix those. Fix the unemployment numbers, fix that. He's gotten that, down? What are we at, like 3-4%? The numbers, Hispanics, minorities, women, all are excelling in this economy that Trump has created, right? And they come to him and tell him, unfortunately, you do not work inside this culture or the direction that this country wants to go. He's like, what do you mean, shit for brains? I've checked off all the lists. You said you had an immigration problem. I've got funding. I've been building a wall. I've been doing everything that was asked of me. And still, they say, well, no, you're not going to fit into this culture. We're going to have to let you go. Donald Trump is going through the same thing, no different than a car salesman, a person that did a good job selling vacuums, or an office clerk inside an office environment. What do all of these professions have in common for the reason of them letting go? And the magic word is pandering. Pandering has nothing to do with your job performance. I hear a lot of Republicans speaking about all of Trump's accomplishments, everything that he's done and how the economy is. But what everyone is missing out on, we live in a gynocracy. We live in a freaking gynocracy. He did not take a page out of Barack Obama's playbook. The reason why Barack Obama was loved so much was because Barack Obama pandered to feminists. Remember, he wore a t-shirt talking about he's a male feminist. Barack Obama pandered to special interest groups. He basically stood on stage and virtue signal out to these groups, national TVs. He had seminars. He had remember the event he did for black women, trying to uplift, telling them that, remember, these are his exact words, and I'm paraphrasing, that the black woman is the backbone of the black community. That's what came out of his mouth. The problem with Donald Trump is Donald Trump, which, remember, it is not a problem for me. I love the way the guy handles himself. I think this is what America needs. America needs a pushback from this clown world. What happened? His impeachment is really because of pandering. An example that I'm going to show you what Donald Trump would do. I'm going to give you two examples of what Donald Trump would do that, from hindsight, it looks fine. In theory, it sounds great, but this does not pander to gynocracy. One example, he was having a town hall meeting. This was before election. There was a woman that asked him a question. She said, Mr. Trump, if I'm going to paraphrase this, Mr. Trump, if you become president, will women make the same amount as a man? Donald Trump said, sure, if she does as good of a job. Now, in theory, that sounds right. If she does as good as a job, she should be paid the same as a man. But what you have to understand, that is not pandering. That is not pandering. A second example, when Donald Trump, there's been a few congresswomen, and a matter of fact, the House Speaker that recently, his media woman that recently stepped down. If a woman does a good job, Donald Trump will basically say that that particular female has done a great job. If it's a congresswoman and she helped with a bill or whatever, he will specifically say that that woman has done a great job. Remember, that does not work with gynocracy. When one woman does a good job, Trump has to say all women are great, just like Barack Obama did. Unfortunately, that's not what he does. And I like that. Listen, if a woman steps up to the plate and she wants to do a good enough job as a man that would be in that same position, sure, just like you will reward a guy. The problem with these feminists, the problem with these special interest groups is they want to be pandered. Remember, women are stupid. They're children. Just like a child, you have to, because remember, every day that they wake up, they're not really secure about themselves. They feel inferior. They need to be reminded with this false, fake validation that they're great. Trump only rewards one specific woman on an individual basis. He does not go out there and virtue signal about how great all women are. And that to them is rubbing them the wrong way. And I believe that is the main reason that you're getting a lot of pushback against him, and that's the main reason why he's going through an impeachment. Ask your average person that dislikes Donald Trump. If you ask them, now remember, you got to put these cuck boys in there too, those liberal cuck boys that are just really over there to play favorites with women. They speak about how much they hate Donald Trump, how much they disagree, and when you ask them specifically, what is it about Trump that you do not like, or what has he done that has really rubbed you the wrong way? Most of the time, you have to put those dumbasses on ice. They have no explanation for it. The only thing they're doing, they're giving you the same talking piece as a woman would. I would ask them, I would say, well, listen, man, how is it that you and a feminist have the exact same talking points? Like, does that ring a bell to you? Do you understand for a heterosexual male, there is nothing over there for you? Why is it that you're having the same talking pieces as them? And most of the time, they really have nothing logical to say. At the end of the day, guys, that's just my opinion on it. Remember, you cannot have feminism and traditionalism. You cannot have the two. The thing is, Trump comes off as a traditional or traditionalist patriarch, and that goes against gynocracy. The two don't work. Now, I'm going to go off onto that and give another warning that I did in a prior video about these, because especially white traditionalist women, have voted Trump in and virtue signal that they're traditional women. Fellas, let me explain something to you. Feminists and traditional women are all the same. If you flip a hamburger, it's still a hamburger. Both sides. It does not fucking matter. Both sides, at the end of the day, their trail leads to your wallet. Feminists want to be able to invade male spaces, get taxation because men are net taxpayers, to pay for a lot of the ones that were unable to land a worker drone provider. So what they do is they cry to the government cuts the check instead of a husband. A traditionalist women, like what is traditionalism in America today? It's a female that spits out kids, that is a stay-at-home mom, while the husband goes out, busts his ass, works 60 hours a week to pay all the bills while she sits on her sorry ass. If you think about it, that is still a bad deal. I'm more of individualism. I don't want to be responsible for neither side. I don't want to have to pay taxes for female programs. And I damn sure do not want to walk to a fucking altar to agree to be a slave for a fucking woman. I believe there should be a multiple choice on where our money, tax money, should go. I mean, we can use 4 examples. One box for women, one box for Alexandria Oxycontin's grain deal, one box for animals, and what the hell, one box for motorcycle clubs. I'll tell you what, it'll be a lot of rich puppies and some nice choppers out there on the road, because that'll be the only ones who will get my money. And that's the reason why they will not want to put those there, is because they don't want you to choose where your money goes. And I know I went off topic a little bit. I'm sorry that's just kind of irks me with these traditional women that are trying to act pro-Trump to virtue signal to men that, listen, we do have quote unquote traditional women out there. And I'm just saying, be careful. Don't trust none of them. But Trump's not pandering to gynocracy. And because of this, they're trying to send him through the meat grinder. At the end of the day, this has nothing to do with his job performance. To me, he's been doing, for a president, he's been doing a pretty good job, in my opinion. This has nothing to do with that. The problem is Trump is not wearing a tight t-shirt that says, I am a male feminist. Trump is not sitting on the podium during his rallies talking about how all women are great just because of their existence. He doesn't do it. And this totally goes, he doesn't even talk about the Rainbow Coalition at all. I haven't heard anything. So he's not pandering to these special interest groups. And because of that, they're going to give this guy a hard time. They see a W coming his way in 2020. I don't think emotionally that they could sustain another 4 years without it being some type of outrage onto the streets. So I hope you guys are prepared for this. But I believe that most of all of this stupid rhetoric is really coming because Trump does not pander to gynocracy. I just wanted to give my opinions on that, fellas. You guys take it easy. It is more videos to come. Take care.